Hello, um, welcome to another video. I am already in bed and had an immense urge to do a reading. I tend to only do readings when um, my guides really push me to it and there's a really strong urge to do a reading. And when the urge comes, yeah, you get up and you do a reading. So, things are pretty intense, and I tend to somehow do readings when things get super intense just to understand it for myself and then share it for whoever else might be experiencing the same. So um, when I'm doing this recording, there is a whole lot of things happening in the world and the energies are super intense. um, And whether you are aware of it or not, we are all affected by collective energies. Um, what came to mind as I reached for my cards, I only have this one deck in my room. All my other decks are at my workstation. So I just grabbed this, and I guess there's no coincidences, but um, what was coming to mind was that this year is a 6th year, 2022. It's a 6th year. I'm big on numerology. Sixes are for me about unconditional love, like a nostalgic energy, compassion and harmony, childlike energy, that innocence, that purity. Love the way a child loves, that honest, deep, carefree, easy, um, unapologetic, just that raw sense of love. And I feel like that's what this year is about. It's about getting back to that. And with that comes a lot of reflection on our past. You might be reflecting on your whole life. I know I have. Um, you might be working through a lot of trauma at the moment. Um, and I guess it's part of the universe's process to bring us back to balance. Um, the universe, nature works that way. When things have tipped too far, the scales have tipped too far in any direction, it brings us back to balance. And, you know, I feel like with so much happening, cards are popping out and I'll read them just now. With so much happening, there's a lot of stress, there's a lot of struggle, there's a lot of pain, there's a lot of worry, a lot of fear. We've been going through the most the last few years, and um, it's easy to lose your will to live. It's easy to lose that spark. It's easy to lose an enthusiasm for life. Um, and I think a lot of us go through most of our lives um, in a state of numbness and just going through the motions. And yeah, we need to get back to that childlike enthusiasm for life, that um, thirst, curiosity, um, sense of adventure. And we might face a lot of struggle when you finally decide to lighten up and live more, because you've been doing things in the same way for so long that if I decide I want to live a simpler life or a different type, live differently, there's so much that needs to change and so much that you need to let go of. And we are creatures of habit, and we form attachments and to people and things and situations and habits and beliefs, and um, untangling yourself from that is really hard. um, I'm just thinking of, I got my crocheting all tangled up, and I was trying to untangle it, and I was like, yeah, you almost want to just chuck the whole thing. You wish you could wipe the slate clean. And sometimes you can, but it can be really painful to do that. um, Really chaotic. And whichever way you choose to do it, it doesn't really matter. You can sit there and tediously, slowly untangle yourself, and it's really up to you. I tend to want to rip the whole thing apart and start from scratch, rip the band-aid off quickly. But sometimes it is necessary to go slow and carefully if it's something that means something to you. um, I tend to babble when I'm channeling, and I don't always know where it's going, but somehow it makes sense. And um, even if only just one message lands for you, then I'm happy with that. So, what's come out so far is the Four of Swords. Um, what I'm getting from this, from the Four of Swords here, is that, well, firstly, a lot of us have been feeling extremely tired, and we don't always know where what we're feeling is coming from. Yes, life has been stressful, that can make you exhausted. Um, but what we don't always realize is that besides our physical lives, our 3D lives, our jobs, our families, the chores, and all of those things, energetically, there is so much that's going on with us. You know, you might be um, you might have realized something about yourself in trying to change a habit, like reacting too fast to people, and now you decide you want to respond instead. And you have to override this program that's been there for so long, consciously. In the beginning, you have to really, it's really hard. It takes a lot of energy. There's so much that's going on with us, whether you want to call it spiritually, energetically, emotionally, mentally, inside of us. There's always so much that's happening. And more now, we are becoming more aware, self aware, more conscious. Um, and with an increase in your awareness, it means you are picking up on so many things, so many more things than you ever did before at any given point in time. And we are not automated as much anymore, whereas this is how it goes, this is what we do, this is it. And just that automatic reaction, when this happens, this is what we do, or this is how we live. We get up, go to work, we come home, we do the things, and that's it. Yeah, it's taking so much energy. It's taking so much energy. We feel everything, again, whether you are aware of it or not. um, when your partner is in a bad mood or your child is not feeling well, it's emotionally taxing. And we often feel people that are closely connected to us more strongly, but we feel everything when um, there's something happening in the world, um, or in your neighborhood. If there is feelings of anxiety over petrol hikes, or um, something massive that's happened, we sense it. Even if you're not consciously aware that you're sensing it, we are always feeling everything. And there's a lot of things that we don't know about, um, and it's exhausting, and we are needing to rest. And there's another message with this card, is that it's almost a sense of prayer. Like, um, there's so much uncertainty now. It's like you can't logically figure things out anymore. You can't control it, you can't manipulate it, you can't be too rigid. All the normal rules don't apply, and it's almost like you have to just take your hands off the wheel, pray about it, meditate about it, allow what needs to unfold, and do what you can. the best that you can. But rest is really important right now. We always feel obligated, but I have to do this, but I have to do that. If I don't do this, things are going to fall apart. It kind of feels like things are falling apart anyway, and it might not be, it might feel really bad in the moment, but the sense is that it's in the long run, um, it's better, because if something is unstable, if something is unsustainable, if it's not working, trying to hold it together and making it work is exhausting. And sometimes we need to let certain things fall apart, so that a new, better way, a permanent solution, can come about. And then the next card was the Five of Pentacles, which is feeling left out in the cold. Um, if you're in South Africa right now, it's winter and it's load shedding, and there's really a sense of struggle, a sense of lack, poverty, um, and it's in varying degrees, obviously, for everyone. But I think we're all feeling it right now in some way or the other. You might be feeling emotionally left out, um, feeling isolated in some way, not necessarily physically, but possibly yes. But losing friendships, losing a job, people not understanding you, having a different path to everyone else. Um, but fives are about changes, and pentacles are tangible things. So, what this feeling and all of these things are happening, there's change that's happening, and change is always good. You can either suffer over a long period of time, um, or you can have a short period of really intense struggle and work through the changes and then have long-term benefits thereafter. And then the next card is the Wheel of Fortune, and this kind of feels like this is just destiny. It's fate, and whether you believe in it or not, there's a greater power of some sort beyond our human selves, that yes, we have free will from one perspective. That's another topic altogether. But what I always get is the universe, God, my higher self, my soul wants the things that I want. And we often don't know how to get there, to the things that we want. And our higher selves, the universe knows better than we know how to get where we really want. And sometimes we don't actually know what we want, because sometimes we get the things that we want and then we find out that's not what I wanted. And so the universe is always working for our highest good. And just because what looks to you like this is something bad that's happening, or you're going off on a path that this can't possibly end well, that doesn't mean on the other side of that um, isn't exactly what you wanted. So, the wheel of destiny turns and it turns, and sometimes you're on the top and sometimes you're on the bottom, but you never ever stay on the top and you never stay at the bottom. And we kind of have to let the process unfold and trust that it's for our highest good. And it leads to emotional fulfillment and overflowing happiness, joy, love. If we accept what the universe is offering us. Um, at the bottom of the deck here, we have the Queen of Cups, and she is all about her emotions. It is important to her how she feels, and love is important to her. And I think that's something that we are learning right now. We're always chasing material things and financial wealth, and it's very cliched and everybody has heard it that um, all of those things means nothing without love. And I think we are learning on such deep levels what love is. And again, it's something that's undefinable. But our understanding of what love is growing so deeply that the things on the outside of us that might have meant something don't mean as much anymore unless you have love for yourself and love for the universe, God, love for um, other people, love for nature, love for the earth. Um, I think it's really a very beautiful thing that's happening right now. Yes, it's hard. Um, you know, it might look like, okay, that person can say, yeah, it's okay for you to be able to say that because things are going well, but we never know what's happening on the inside of somebody else's life. Whether you are sitting in a mansion somewhere with lots of money or um, broke out in the streets, it, we all are human and we all feel emotions. We all feel we all feel pain, we all feel sadness, we all feel loneliness, we all feel hopelessness, we all feel uncertainty and doubt, um, regardless of what you have. And this balancing out that's happening, spirituality balancing out with physical 3D life, is taking us to a place where when we can go within and change who we are on the inside and learn to live in a different way or be in a different way and be um, what we are beyond our programmed selves, what we've learned to become, then that's how we change the things on the outside of us. Um, yeah, I don't, that um, sort of just came out that way. I had no idea what was going to come out when I started pulling cards. The Six of Wands is victory. It is great victory. It is um, success, reward for challenging times. And that's just a positive sign that that's where it all leads. Um, let's get one more card for guidance. The Four of Wands, which is what we all want. We want stability. We want Four of Wands is about union, celebration, stability, um, and really we are learning to be one with ourselves, our souls. We are learning to be one with the universe and God, one with the earth, and it's a slow process, or at least it feels that way. Time is not really linear, um, and things have felt extremely accelerated in the last 6-7 months, or maybe even in the last few years. Things are happening at such a rapid pace, um, but at the same time it feels like it's slowing down or time has stopped, and we can feel like we are stuck and we don't know where we are going and we can't move, and this is uncomfortable. But if you think about it and just look back at how much change has happened, and these changes and the discomfort pushes us out of our comfort zone and forces us to grow and expand, which is ultimately what we want. But often we are afraid or we don't know how, and we need that little nudge from the universe to send us off in the right direction. And all we really can do is ride the wave and try to change your perspective. And I know it's hard. I've had quite a roller coaster of a year so far. The lows are really low and the highs are super high. Um, and all we can really do is ride the wave. And I'm going to pull one last card, and the Page of Swords jumped out. Pages are messengers, and swords is mental energy, so thoughts, truth. It's also a very young energy. um, I feel like there's a lot of truth surfacing in the media, possibly in relationships, truths we are discovering about ourselves that might be really hard to swallow, hard to see, hard to acknowledge. And we really have to show each other compassion again, compassion, um, and maybe talk about it. Find people you can trust and that you feel safe with, um, that you can really be honest with. And once we are able to speak the truth, it doesn't keep us bound anymore. When we hide things, when we deny things, suppress things, it becomes really painful and isolating, because the more we um, sugarcoat the truth or dress it up or hide from it, the greater it becomes, and then the more difficult it is to unravel ourselves from those pretenses, and or even just those painful things. And once we start sharing our truth, you'd be surprised to find how many people are actually in the same boat or feel the same way or understand. Again, there's that compassion thing. It's really about not shaming and judging and guilting each other for our faults and our flaws and our mistakes, um, but finding a way to forgive and know we are not supposed to allow injustices and accept it and swallow it. But once we can talk about things honestly, then we can move forward and change can come. Um, I don't know how much sense that reading made. I am keen to play it back and listen to it myself. But yeah, I hope that something reaches you and helps you in your process in some way. And if this was helpful, I would appreciate if you like the video and subscribe if you want to see more. Um, it will help me to keep this going. And I'll see you in another video.